Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. Today we are going to be going through some of the general news in War Thunder. So we start off with the simulator news and then go into some changelogs, and also there's a new model which has been released by DanPogan, probably after the recent, I suppose, exposure he's got when it comes to his other models, which for some reason some other people think are actually coming to the game next update, which would be very, very odd since they've been around for a very long time. This, obviously, DanPogan, if you don't know who it is, he's the creator of the BM Oplot we looked at last time, the ERC90, and also the BTR4, which, you know, eventually could come to the game, but there's no real time period on it. And also at the same time, these models have been around for about a year, so it's really weird how people have got all up in arms about them right now. Then also, the vehicle that he has shown is the Yagatan, or the T-84, which is a pretty cool vehicle. Basically, it is an upgraded T-80, or an upgraded Oplot if you want. It has a 120mm smoothbore gun, designed to fire NATO standard ammunition, and has a rate of fire of about 9 shots a minute, and can also go 70 kilometers an hour forward and 32 kilometers an hour in the back, which is pretty fun. And hopefully it'll come as a user mission in the future. Dan does say that it will, and then we'll check it out and make sure to show you guys it. Also, just want to say thank you for the 50,000 subscribers. It's obviously a big goal, which is, you know, very kind of you for helping to get to, and we'll continue and keep pushing forward as we always do when it comes to the channel. And we'll probably do some kind of Q&A in the future or something to celebrate us. I do have a few videos for you guys to actually put up, very similar to the highlights ones that we saw last week. So maybe we'll do a 50,000 subscriber special. Maybe some highlights and stuff like that. But anyway, let's get into the rest of the news. So when it comes to simulator, they're actually retesting a system that used to be in the game. So basically what they're doing is they're bringing back the BR system for sim instead of the lineup matchmaking system they had before. The article says, we invite ground SB players to take part in the test of a matchmaking variant for ground SB. Unlike changing daily vehicle presets, the new format will allow the forming of teams based on BR of the game session. You'll be able to use different vehicles in the battles at any time regardless of the weekday. So the test schedule is from 11 GMT on the 17th of February until 11 GMT on the 21st of February. So basically you've got the weekend, including today. Instead of 2 events with vehicle presets in Ground SB, the mode in which you can participate in vehicles of any BR will be switched on, and sessions will be created when the minimum number of players in the queue for the appropriate BR is reached. The nations and number of respawns remain the same. Take part in the test and voting that will be available to you after finishing 3 battles with an activity of 60% or higher. Voting will be available in the hangar in the game until the 22nd of February. We will post the voting results in the special discussion forum on the special discussion topic on the forum. Attention! There may be changes during the test that will be announced in the first message in the topic. Voting, as well as the achievements required with voting access, will be available after the 18th of February. And also, due to a large number of players playing in German vehicles for game sessions with a BR of 11.0, an additional preset of nations Germany and Sweden against other nations has been added to reduce the waiting time for the game sessions of this BR. Pay attention to the list of nations after loading into the game session. So there you go. They're bringing back a BR system instead of the system they had before, which was the lineup system. Now, for me personally, I think the BR system is better than the lineup system. The reason for this is because with the lineup system, there was clearly a better side compared to the other side, and once people figured that out, everybody just played that one side. And the reason why I know this is because I played a decent amount of sim, and you'd have a ton of people queuing up for one side and not the other. The other thing as well would be, to kind of prove this point home, and why one of the events of War Thunder was stopped pushing or stopped going was the World War II Chronicles events. The reason why those stopped, basically, is because everybody would try and play one side. So the queue times would be really long unless you wanted to face a horde and put yourself under pressure, which is generally what I ended up doing because I thought it was easier to do when it came to getting the challenges done. But obviously for most people, that wasn't the case, and it was just easier for them to play one side. So when it comes to this SB session, I think the BR session, if there's enough population and the queue times are low enough, then yes, it would be much better to do this way of balancing instead of the lineup system. It just makes more sense from an actual gameplay point of view. It's the reason why arcade and realistic have always run better than simulator, because the general matchmaking system is better than them. Simple as. The other thing to also mention when it comes to these things is the fact that what was I going to say? Oh, I've lost my words. Oh, I really apologize. It's something to do with the events. So when it comes to events in Sim, one of the things that's also been unfortunate in Sim is a lot of simulator events have actually been not counting towards other outside events. So stuff such as like the challenge modes, or even stuff such as, you know, the big events, like the time events, like the Build-A-Bear events and stuff. And with the BR system put into it, maybe now when it comes to simulator, you'll be able to actually use it to play these events. Obviously when it comes to Build-A-Bear, REC will be one of those things which will probably still be left out because you can just kind of increase the battle time as you go. But when it comes to ground, it may be more friendly to further events in the future. So for me, this would obviously be better. There was also a changelog yesterday. This was 2.13.0.125, and they changed a bunch of different stuff, and starting off with ground vehicles. The first thing is they actually changed something on the Tunguska, the 2S6. Basically, a bug has been fixed that prevented 30mm ammo reload on a point with the 2S6 M1 modification installed. So you weren't able to get 30mm ammo back, but luckily that's been fixed. And also, surprisingly, one of the big changes when it comes to ground stuff is they've actually fixed the turn lag on a bunch of vehicles. Now, I thought when it came to the BTs, they've fixed the turn lag on the BT7, the BT7M, the BT7A F32, the STRV M31, and also the Tetrarch one. Now, I thought this was a feature, not a bug, just because of how the actual transmission works on these vehicles, but it looks like it was a bug. And this has been a bug on these vehicles since, they've been around, since they've actually been in the game. So this is another bug that has been going on for years, probably at least 5 at this point, or at least around about that, which has finally been fixed, which is very surprising, because I honestly thought it was just a feature of how the transmission worked, but obviously not. So that's really nice. It will be good for new players, and also pre-existing players going down to play those vehicles again will be good for them. The 57mm OR281U, the explosion type, has also been specified from TNT to A92, so we'll have to see how that affects the actual round itself, and if it will give it more explosive or less. For aircraft, they fixed a lot of turrets, or at least improved them, and also improved something on the F-105D. The lack of the radar lock on the target visualization has been fixed on the good old Thunder Chief. Now, the Thunder Chief for me has had a few issues when it comes to its game, mainly down to its computing systems that it has on its machine not always working. The other vehicle, which also has issues with this, is one of the A4Es for Israel. Unfortunately, some of its features don't work fully right now, but hopefully that gets fixed in the future. The ME264, the TBD-1, and also the DB3A for China all of these machines had their targeting angles of specific turrets corrected, so they now should be better, or they should focus better. The Lancaster B Mark I and also the B Mark III, a bug has also been fixed where the upper turret was able to shoot through the fuselage. So hopefully that will be good as well. And they also added something or fixed something with the MiG-27M and also the MiG-27K. A bug has been fixed where the number of bombs in the setup OFAB 100 times 12 and S5KP times 64 was incorrect. So there was obviously the wrong number of bombs which was about. So nice to see that fixed. Obviously you need the literature to add up to what you see in game. They also fixed some naval stuff, so a bug has been fixed where a wrecked hydroplane disappeared when the second hydroplane was launched. So that was actually something that we saw quite a lot in ground forces when they started adding in dead vehicles, a lot of them just disappearing, especially after people left the match. So hopefully now that is fixed. And then the MBK 161 late, the bugs with incorrectly displayed armor values have also been fixed. So overall that's good. And they also had some other changes as well. So a bug has been fixed that prevented raindrops from displaying when the graphics are set to maximum on movie modes. This was something that you used to have, and I'm guessing they're bringing it back. Obviously, I play the game on maximum settings, because, you know, I really like the look of the game and I think it looks beautiful. But generally, when it was raining, you used to get these raindrops on the screen, which kind of simulated, well, it raining. And yeah, they disappeared, but now I guess they're back. I didn't know if it was a bug or not, but it looks like it was. An option has also been added to hide markers of the available tasks from the research button, as well as nations and vehicles types tabs. Markers are now hidden after reading the corresponding info in the user profile window. So there you go. You can hide them if you want. I don't know why you would want to hide them, but I think overall it's nice to have the option. It obviously depends if you're interested in the events or not. And then players are now able to toggle previews of vehicles, camos, decals, and decorations from the Battle Pass prize list. So that's now more available so you can see them better. What's also nice is they've made the vehicles slightly larger, so it's more obvious which level that they're at. Even though they're the same level every time, there will still be new people who, you know, do the first battle pass for the first time. So it's nice to see that they've made that available for them. So that's really cool. I'm really happy with those changes. Really have no issues with them. And the biggest surprise is obviously the turn lag stuff for the lower tier vehicles. We're going to have to see how they act now, but it's really cool that they've fixed that. Anyway, as always, thank you for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day. I'd just like to thank Professor X 1718, Orange Tail, Sakoshi Tiger, BRFC 15, Teddy, John Ryman, Universe A, Eugens Terry, Ambrosius McClellan, Daniel Stanton, Martinez, B. Young, and then Kyle Kin, Barine, Lafouche, and also Samuel Slick for supporting the channel.